Hi, my name is Acosta. I'm part of the utilities department. I'm a senior tech for water, a piece of equipment that I use daily. It's a valve turning machine. Basically what I do is I basically go through and exercise the valves throughout the town of Queen Creek. I'll do shutdowns for inspectors and help the guys out if there's something that they need a hand with where this truck might be of use. I want to go ahead and just start off on talking about some of the features that the truck has. It has a vacuum on it where if there's stuff within a valve can, this here being a valve can, you guys have probably seen these going down the road. They typically have a lid on them that looks something like this. Inside that valve can is, I'll go in, I'll stick this machine here onto a valve. The machine's hydraulically run. It runs with this controller here. This controller is really useful. It helps us record the number of turns, which in turn tells us what size valve we're dealing with. It allows me to go ahead and exercise the valve, run the valve in manual mode. And then this little gadget actually stores the information off of that particular valve. And from this controller, we can actually dump the information into some software called Vitals that we use, and that information gets stored, and basically at that point we can go ahead and record the data for that individual valve. If there's a valve that we don't want somebody to use, we basically do something like this. We'll take a valve lock key, we'll stick this on top of the valve, basically rendering it unoperable. This is some of this stuff here. When we're exercising valves and we pull valve can lids, we basically we pull them, we spray paint them in that box there, set them back down. This is kind of a cool feature. This is, you're probably wondering what this big long tube is here. Basically what this does is it basically holds our mud plugs. If there's a valve that's in an area where there's a lot of sand and debris that typically gets into the valve can, we'll throw one of these mud plugs in there, and that basically allows us to get into that valve can and operate that valve nut at any point in time. As far as locating valves, we have a probe here. I have a metal detector in the truck that we use. This is manually. This is something you do manually as far as exercising, or not exercising up, but when we go to do a shutdown or something like that. This is one of the reasons we go in with this truck and do valve exercising, is that when if there's an issue or a time that we need to go ahead and put this key here on a nut and manually close that valve, the valve's exercised and able to be operated and closed by an individual relatively easily. This here is kind of cool. If there's something in a valve can, kids like to get into valve cans and throw stuff into the valve cans. Well, these little grabbers will actually go down inside the valve can and pick up debris. So this is kind of a neat tool. It's essential. I like it. We've got a digging bar here, and this is most of the stuff that we deal with. If we come across a valve that has not been, we refer to it as a shot in. If it's not been shot in, it's typically something that we'll go ahead and we'll go back and shoot in. So what I'm talking about is we have a software that it's an interactive map, and that interactive map basically allows us to see where certain valves are throughout the town. And if we come across the valve that maybe isn't showing up on our map or something like that, we can go ahead and we can shoot that valve in. We're gonna have some demonstrations, I guess, on how we use the truck in a real life situation type deal, so, or a real setting, if you will. So let us go ahead and move on to that.